Crazy Coconut Christmas Chronicles, written by Scott Vedder, that's me, and Tony Tapia, with illustrations by Kenny Durkin. Deep beneath the bright blue waters of the Caribbean Sea, there is a wonderful place where every day is filled with Christmas magic. People of all ages, times, and places live there, surrounded by gifts and toys, in a tropical paradise at the bottom of the ocean. But how did they get there? And how did this magical place come to be? The answer is as amazing as the place itself. Lucy awoke to a cool ocean breeze, the smell of sea salt, the gentle sounds of seagulls and children playing on the sand. She stood up from the hammock and stretched out her arms. As she looked around, she began to see and hear new things. The sounds of seagulls turned to jingling bells. The scent of the salty sea air changed into sweet peppermint and Christmas trees. Lucy walked towards the open door of the hut and into the sunlight. Outside, she saw what she thought were palm trees, but these trees seemed magical and different. Their long, slender trunks were striped in bright red and white and looked like candy canes. Lucy was on the beach of an island no one had ever even dreamed possible. Hey Lucy, you're up! Andrew came running towards the hut with a new friend in tow. This is my friend Celia, and she's been showing me around this amazing place. Celia was a short girl with dark curly hair. She was dressed in a plain brown wrap which covered her sun-kissed skin like a simple dress. Celia greeted Lucy. "We're glad you're awake. You've been asleep a long time, and there are lots of people to meet." All three of them walked along the shoreline toward a small shanty village. Strewn about the shore were lots of different toys and gifts, like dolls, cars, stuffed animals, and more. Some were tiny, some were enormous, bigger than a house. In the distant waters, Lucy could see huge gift boxes floating like far-off islands on the horizon. What is this place, wondered Lucy? The shanty village was as magical as the rest of the island. There were a few huts built from leaves and trees, but the rest were made of Christmas gifts, toys, and decorations of all shapes and sizes. Andrew pointed to a large, colorful house and said, "Hey, Lucy, doesn't that look like your dollhouse?" "You're right, it does," exclaimed Lucy. The next home they passed looked like a giant Christmas tree ornament with the bottom half cracked open. Inside sat a man and a woman with a young baby. "Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Jolly," said Celia. She explained, "They got here a while before you two did." Next, Lucy and Andrew heard a strange sound. Vroom, putter, putter, bang! Lucy was startled by the loud noise. "Hit the deck," yelled Andrew. "Cannon fire!" Celia just chuckled. "Don't worry, my friends. That's just Faye tinkering on her flying machine. I don't think she'll ever get that thing to work." Andrew and Lucy looked over at a tall, auburn-haired woman in a jumpsuit working busily on the machine. "What is that machine?" asked Andrew. Faye huffed. "It was an airplane, but now it's a big hunk of junk." Celia explained. "Faye keeps telling us that it's supposed to fly like a bird, but none of us have ever seen it work." Lucy and Andrew had never heard of a flying machine, but they realized they couldn't explain everything in this magical place. As the night grew closer, all of the villagers huddled close to a bonfire while Celia told the story of how the island came to be. Many years ago at the North Pole, Santa was getting ready for another Christmas Eve. He was preparing the reindeer and packing his sleigh full of presents and toys for every good boy and girl around the world. As usual, he had all of his elves helping him that night. The elves placed each toy carefully into one of Santa's magical sacks and then loaded them onto the sleigh. Many have wondered how all of those gifts and toys could fit into just a few sacks on Santa's sleigh. Well, that's where Christmas magic comes in. You see, these sacks were no ordinary bags. They were magical. There was room inside each magical sack for countless presents and toys, with no boundaries of time or space. No matter how big or small, every present could easily fit into one of the magical sacks on Santa's sleigh. Santa had as much space as he needed to carry all of the toys, and as much time as he needed to deliver them all over the world. One fateful Christmas Eve, a new elf named Bungle helped load Santa's sleigh. Bungle was a notoriously clumsy elf. He was always rushing around, dropping things, and being a little silly. In fact, his name Bungle means to make a mistake. Even though Bungle had made a few silly mistakes before, Santa believed in him and trusted him with a very important job. That job was to tie the magical sacks to the sleigh so they wouldn't fall off during Santa's worldwide journey. When Bungle placed the last magical sack on top, he hurried and didn't tie it tightly enough. This proved to be a very big mistake indeed. Santa made it successfully off the ground and pointed his sleigh south for his first deliveries. As he flew over the Caribbean Sea, a strong wind blew. The magical sack that Bungle forgot to tie tightly came loose and fell all the way to the bottom of the ocean. When it rested on the ocean floor, the top of the sack opened up ever so slightly, and the sea began to seep in. Lots of things flowed into the opening and mixed with the presents and toys inside. Islands, sand, palm trees, and boats were all sucked down into the endless space and time of Santa's sunken magical sack. Even today, when the ocean current moves just right, the top of the magical sack opens up a little bit, and new things are pulled inside. Legend has it this area is now known as the Bermuda Triangle. "Oh yes," said Andrew. "Pirates were chasing us near the Bermuda Triangle when a whirlpool appeared and dragged us under the water. That must be how we got here." Celia continued, "That's how we all got here. We all got sucked down into the ocean and woke up to find ourselves in this magical place, inside Santa's sunken sack. Since arriving here, each of us has tried to figure a way to get out of the top of the sack, but the opening is so high up, we have no way to reach it. Maybe someday Faye will get that airplane flying and we'll all soar out of here together. Until then, we've made a happy home here amongst the gifts and ornaments, and our lives are filled every day with Christmas magic." Lucy asked, "Has anyone ever been able to get out?" "Well," said Celia, "there once was a young boy named Itzley who came from an ancient people. He left our village to see if he could find a way out by climbing the highest mountain on the island. According to the legend, Itzley encountered a horrible cannibal witch doctor who lived in a cave on the mountain. Itzley was never seen again. A few people have tried to go find Itzley, but all have turned back. Those who have journeyed up the mountain say they can hear the evil witch doctor chanting, 'I'm gonna eat you, I'm gonna eat you.' Itzley has never returned." Lucy said, "Well, if Itzley never returned, maybe he found a way out. We should go up the mountain and see if there's a way around the witch doctor that leads us out of here." Celia cautioned them. "Even the bravest of our friends are frightened by the magic and chanting of the witch doctor. What if he really is a cannibal? What if he really is gonna eat you?" Andrew bravely exclaimed, "I've faced pirates on the high seas. I'm not afraid of a witch doctor. Let's go." The next day, they prepared to head up the mountain.